Cano here. Exciting day. We are starting our and finishing our final drawing for our Super Defender here in the Draw It slide. We're going to use all of the practice and skills we learned in the previous two lessons to now put together our final drawing. And I've been playing with the Draw It slide a bit in Nearpod, and I've figured out a few quick tricks to help us get one complete picture in a very neat and organized way, okay? So follow along. I'm going to walk through this step by step. If you need to pause the video, I highly suggest pausing the video as you kind of make your way through so that you have all of the pieces that I'm looking for in your final work. Let's begin. So starting here, again, we are going to start with our picture finder. Okay, and we're going to start, instead of starting with the gesture picture, we're going to start first with a background picture that's going to take up most of our screen. So my forest commander, as I was speaking about last time, he's from the Poconos, he's from the woods, the forest. So I'm going to start by searching a forest picture. Okay, so we got a bunch of choices here. I want to go for something kind of serene and peaceful. So I'm going to go ahead. I like this picture. I'm going to pick that one. All right, it's popped up on our screen. I'm going to go ahead and stretch, and you should too stretch the image kind of as far as you can. It's all right to have a little white border around it. That's no big deal. Then come to the bottom right. Stretch it out. Sometimes it gets a little tricky. All right, so that looks good. And then you can just kind of shift it over so it's centered, kind of like that. And there we go. Okay, so we got our first picture. This is going to serve as our background, and we're going to then be making our drawings and collaging other pictures into this, okay? So moving along, we're going to go back to search another image. Now we're going to search our gesture drawing. I think I want to go with someone jumping. You know what? Let's go with someone flying instead. See if we can find someone flying. And I'm looking at a bunch of airplanes. That's not helpful. Let's try that again. I'm going to go back. Let's be more specific. Human flying. See what we get. Oh, okay, so we got some. Oh, we see Superman here. Interesting. See what other ones we have. These are okay. They're kind of weird. I want to search another page. I don't think they're really going to work for what I want to do. This little girl one might be good. I like that her arms are spread out and her legs are straight. She's up against the sky, so it looks like she's kind of flying with her arms out. Let's go with this one. Okay, another superhero here. Interesting. All right, so your picture is gonna, your gesture picture is gonna be right on top of your background picture, and that's okay. We'll be able to get rid of it a little bit later. The first thing you want to do is I wouldn't stretch this picture out too much. You don't want it to be as big as the background. This is a good size for me. I might just stretch it just a bit because the picture I'm working with, it's of a child, so the features are a little bit smaller. And then what I'm going to do is kind of reposition it in a spot where I think I want my drawing to go. So I think it'd be kind of cool to have my Forest Commander right about there. All right, so we got our second picture, gesture picture in place. Now we're going to come back to the drawing icon. And again, use a color that will show up against the picture that you're drawing on top of. And then again, adjust your marker point. Go with something thinner. That looks right about there's good, I think, for me. Okay, so we're just going to continue. I'm going to move quick because you guys have seen this a number of times. So around, again, remember the most important thing is her neck. Now for this girl, her neck, her shoulders are kind of above her neck. So it's not super visible, but it's still there. I'm going to go right into her shoulders. But her shoulders are bent upwards. Her arms are up. And then I'm going to go from her chin, and as you can tell, her body's pretty straight. Her torso and her legs are pretty straight. There's not a whole lot of curving happening. So I'm just going to draw that line, find her spine down to her hip. All right, and then that cross from left to right on the hip. Just moving along. Speed this up a little bit. Okay, again, we're building simple stick figure. All right, and then we'll build out that musculature and then the details of the character. All right, so hip to knee, knee to ankle, and then her toes are pointed. So I'm just gonna draw something to kind of throw that in there. Got her toes pointed. This one's slightly behind the other one, but I'm just gonna draw it so that we could see it. That's fine. All right, now we're gonna start building the musculature. All right, again, if your hero is gonna be a character with muscles, definitely kind of just show where that might go. Again, I'm moving quick. You guys can take a little bit more time. Most of you should be pretty used to drawing with the Draw It tool by now in Nearpod. Oops. All right. Okay, so yeah, we're about, again, this is just a quick drawing to kind of give us a guide. Okay, so we have our gesture drawing. Now, to get rid of the background picture, the picture we drew in, here's the trick. What you want to do is come back to the picture finder, okay? But you're not going to search anything. You're just going to exit out. Now, when you exit out, you see your drawings not there. It hasn't disappeared. It's behind everything, okay? So what you're going to do is click on the picture, and then you're going to come down to the trash can, and you're just going to get rid of that picture after you complete the gesture drawing, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, get rid of it. Now, oh boy, I don't know where my gesture drawing is. Yeah, you do. You come back to your marker, and boom, it pops right back up. So it leaves behind the gesture drawing on the background that we originally wanted to work with. Okay, so that was a nice little trick. Saves us a bunch of time. Okay, let's design our character. So again, I'm switching my colors. Remember we talked about my character having a lot of earth tones in his costumes. We're going to start with this nice brown color. You know what? Something that I'm noticing here, where I placed my character right where the sun's kind of peeking through here. I think what I want to do is see if I can preserve a little bit of that sun coming through, so it looks like the shine of the sun is kind of coming through his chest. Let me see if I could do that. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm adding in those little details. I'm kind of gonna color around a little bit. I don't want to completely block out. Well, you know what? Why don't I just I'll use my eraser tool later. That's what I think I'm gonna do. All right, so I'm just quickly kind of going in here. Okay, got my top half done. Switch my colors. I remember he had all black pants. I think he had green boots. I'm actually gonna bring and bend his knee a little bit. I think that looks a little bit more dynamic. And I'm just going over that gesture drawing, as you can see. You know, I'll bend this knee a little bit also, so it kind of looks like he's in action. He's not just kind of like a stiff board floating above the ground. All right, I got there. I think I said I also put black gloves on him. I'm not going to draw fingers or anything like that. I don't need to worry about that. Just something to kind of represent his hands. A little kind of mitten thing maybe. That works for me. All right, and then he had kind of that light blue mask on. Filling that in. Again, you know, I'm moving quick. You guys take a little bit more time. Okay, and then he had those green boots, I remember. Let's get those green Uggs on him. All right. It's all right if your drawing comes a little bit out of frame into the white border. No problem. No big deal. All right, so I got his boots. He had that design on his chest, but I also want to see if I could get a little. You know, let's start working with the eraser tool, and let me see if I can erase some of the drawing to let the background sun kind of shine through. I think that might look kind of cool. Ooh, yeah, that does look cool. I like that. Interesting. It's kind of like this shine kind of coming out there. Look at that. Kind of figuring stuff out as we go here. I like that. And remember, if you remember from the last drawing that I made, I had that kind of like oval in there. Oh yeah, I'm digging that. That looks cool. So you can get some kind of going up here. Oh yeah, that looks good, right? It's just like some simple editing, right? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna add just a touch more brown in it, just like along the arm. I don't think, and along the back here maybe, just so it doesn't seem like he's translucent. But that looks kind of cool. And then I remember using that light beige as like an oval so I could draw the pine tree. But I'm just gonna leave. I'm not even gonna add that oval. I'm just gonna go ahead and draw the pine tree. So again, lowering my drawing tool and just kind of drawing that in there. Oh, that looks great. I'm digging that big time. All right. Going back, let's work on his mask. Remember, I was kind of drawing in his mask. I remember I also had a blue line around his mask. Yeah, I remember that. And then we'll switch back to the black really quick, lower the drawing tool so we can get that fine detail. So I remember I was drawing that mask. It kind of looks like the masks you see people wearing nowadays with COVID happening. A little kind of inspiration there to protect him. A little inspiration from the real world. I remember I think he had goggles too. Yeah, some black goggles. I wanted him to look pretty mysterious. You know, just trying my best to get in those dark areas. It's okay if we see a little bit of that blue coming through. Looks kind of nice. All right, and lickety split. I got the majority of my character drawn. Oh, forgot his cape. Must have his cape, absolutely. So I'll have his cape kind of flowing here in the background. There we go. And I'm not even going to color it in. I'm just going to kind of just draw some crazy lines. Kind of fill it in a little bit. Leave a little bit of that background kind of shining through. Again, I'm not trying to be perfect. Just trying to... I kind of like the little spots on it. Kind of the ruffles, like it's ruffled in the wind. All right, so boom, there you go. We got our character, we got our background done. Last thing that you remember that we're gonna add, and you'll remember from the second lesson, we wanted to add in that injustice, that thing that your character is fighting against, right? So my character's fighting against pollution, global warming, and I had put in the smokestacks and the plastic bottles. So I'm gonna go back to the picture finder. What kind of pollution do I want to see? Let's put smokestack. I like the smokestack. Smokestack. And I'm even going to put pollution. Smokestack pollution. Oh, yeah. So we're getting a whole bunch here. Whole bunch. See if we can get another one. Kind of looking for one with a green background a little bit. Oh, you know what? I think this might... No. I think these are a little... You know what? I'm gonna go back. I'm just gonna search pollution. I think these smokestack ones are a little too specific. Let's see what we get. Pollution. All right. Oh boy, yeah. Maybe this dump might be. These kind of look like dumps. This is a tough one. Let me check one more page. All right, man. Let's try this one. This one's so it's got that fire element. It looks like it's a bunch of garbage that's on fire, which is Very bad for the environment. So let's save that one. All right, yeah, we can make this work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to slide this down and line it up with the corner there. And then I'm also just going to stretch it just a touch up until like where that tree is. So that looks pretty good. I can work with that. Right? And again, as you see, our picture's disappeared, but it's not completely gone. When you're in the Picture Finder app, it doesn't bring up any of your drawings. Again, you must go back to the marker tool, and then it pops up. Okay, so we got our pollution picture. We got our background picture. We're now finished with our Picture Finder. Last thing we're going to do is have our hero now interacting with the injustice. In my case, it's the pollution, and fighting off the pollution that he sees. Okay, so what do we got? I'm going to add some more smoke here just to kind of blend that picture in a little bit. So I'm just kind of adding. Also, let me see if they got like a grayish color. They don't have a gray color. Maybe something in the highlighter. That might work. Again, the highlighter tool doesn't come out as dark and opaque, but we might be able to use it against some of the black here. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to open up my drawing tool a little bit, make it a little thicker. Yeah, it kind of works. It's not very dark though. I think I'm just gonna stick with. Let me see what else. Let me try the white. Maybe the white. Oh, the white kind of works a little bit better. Yeah, that works. Okay, so I'm just kind of adding some more smoke here. Like there's this forest that is on fire, and the forest commander's here to save the day. Okay, so we got a little drawing into the second collage picture, the pollution picture, and now we're going to have the powers coming out of his hand. So we said he can use the elements of the earth, the wind, water, fire, the weather, and to blow out. Let's say the fire first. He's going to use the weather. So obviously he's going to be raining from his hands some water to first put out the fire. So I'm going to have him doing that with his right hand. Let's go ahead and start that. I'm going to use two different blues. I'm going to start first with the light blue. All right, I'm going to just make my drawing tool a little bit smaller, and we're ready. Okay, so you got the water coming down. Boom, I'm going right over it. Some big lines. All right, and I'm not even going to color. I'm just kind of using line to build the color and to build the image. All right, and I'm going to go back into it with the blue. I'm going to lower the tip a little bit of my drawing tool. I'm just going to add a second layer of line. So there's like this water coming out of his hands. He's using the power of the earth. Have some splashes here. Maybe some little dots. So the fire, we see the fires going out. I'm also going to add in, I think I'm going to add in a little white. I think that might be kind of good too. Get some of those white lines in there. All right, so he's got that splashing happening. A couple little dots here. Kind of hard to make little dots with this, but again, we're just doing our best and we're pushing ourselves. All right, so we got our first power here. I'm gonna go back and edit this just a little bit with the eraser. Just kind of burn this down a little bit. That looks a little bit better to me. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna just get rid of that black, or rather that red line. Smooth out the edges on the character. There we go. All right, and then his last power, like you said, with the plastic, he has the ability to turn plastic bottles into baby trees or saplings. So let's go ahead and do that. Back to the drawing tool. Let's first get, I like using that orange line yesterday coming out of his hand. So we're just going to kind of go crazy. Let's get some crazy lines in here, like some zigzags. That looks good. I'm drawing right on top of the character, adding in those crazy lines. He's getting rid of that pollution. There we go. And let's add the tree saplings, changing the width of my drawing tool. Going back to that brown. And again, simple line. Simple, simple, simple line. So I'm drawing, I'm layering my drawing. Drawing right on top of the other stuff I've drawn on. Put some more of those saplings coming out here just so it looks like there's a little bit more continuity. Going back to the drawing tool, changing color, bringing the line down to the green for the sapling. And we're just going to add some little trees in here around our little baby sapling trees and their trunks. Got another one here. And again, I'm not trying to be precise. I'm just kind of going, letting the line dictate. Just kind of going with the flow here. All right, and all that pollution is now getting covered up. There we go. All right, cool. I'm gonna put some green lines in his cape. I think that looks pretty rad. There we go. So it looks like the cape is flowing there. All right, so we are nearly done. The last thing that I'm going to ask you to do once you have all these different components that I've added in, I want you to use the text tool, and I want you to put in your character's name. So in my case is the Forest Commander. I'm going to use, so I got a lot of green. I think I'm going to need to use a lighter color. We could change. You could change the size to the text here, which is kind of interesting. You see it moving. I'm gonna go for try and get it nice and big. Yeah, let's try and go big here. We'll be able to reposition it after we type it. So I'm gonna go make sure. Okay, yeah. So what you need to do is adjust it and then choose your color. I'm gonna choose. I like this orange a lot. Let's try that. And then you click in the box and you see here Forest Commander. All right, now it's all stacked on top of one another, right? So that's not going to work, right? Because we can't see it. So you're going to need to stretch it. Okay, stretching it. Might be a little bit too big, so I'm going to go back down. I'm just going to lower the size. Oh boy. Okay, we got a problem here. So you're going to need to erase the box. So again, I did it a little. If you do too big, you're going to need to redo it, but it's just a simple fix. So let's go. Let's start. Yeah, I think that's your size. So if you could see enter your text here. If you could see all those letters in your little box, you should be pretty good. Go with orange. Let's try it again. Forest Commander. All right, and then we'll be able to stretch it out. Let's get rid of the colors. All right, there we go. That's looking a lot better. All right, and then you can use this to drag it around and just try and find a place where you're not covering any of your drawings, and it should fit right on top of the picture. That looks good. Go back to the draw tool, and you have your final drawing. Okay, so again, make sure you have your background picture to start. Stretch it in the frame. Make sure it takes up the majority of the white background. It's okay to have a little border. Then second, you're gonna choose a second picture for the gesture that you want. You bring that in, position it where you want to place it on the background, then move to the drawing tool, draw the gesture on top of the picture. Remember, to get rid of the original gesture picture, I'll model it down here. you need to go back to the picture finder, but again, you're not going to search anything. You just click the X, and then you see here the little blue dots in the corners come up. You come down to delete, you click delete. I'm not going to click delete because I don't want to get rid of my picture, but that's what you would do. And then to go back to see your drawing again, you click back on the drawing tool. You build out the costume, okay? Once you have the costume built out, you're going to then pick one other picture of the injustice to which your defender is fighting against. That gets collaged in. In my case, it was the burning trash and plastic bottles. That gets collaged in. Find a good spot in your picture for it. And then you're adding in your superpowers, okay? Your superpowers should be in some kind of way interacting with your pollution picture. Like in my case, the water putting out the fire, and then him having the ability to turn plastic bottles into saplings, as you see here. I added a little extra detail in the background picture with the smoke. You could do that as well. And then finally, make sure your name of your defender is somewhere in the picture using the text tool. So that's about it. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. I'm really excited just making these myself. So have fun. Again, if you have any questions, you could always reach out. Matthew.Pisicano@BreaCollegePrep.org. Have fun, and I'll see you soon.